Well, fellas, we're back. It's a similar vibe to plenty of Broncos games we've talked about in the past, but something that we're not used to. The Denver Broncos are the number one seed in the AFC, and they have 14 wins for just the second time in franchise history, the first time since 1998, and the first time in my entire lifetime. That's a true fact. So people don't overlook how great this regular season is. Joining me to break down this game and maybe a little bit of the regular season in general. On my left, I've got Mike Carmelini of Mile High Monsters. His link's in the description. Make sure you check him out. And on my right, I'm joined by David Talks Broncos. He's also David Talks Buffs, David Talks Sports. Make sure you're following him for all this transfer portal news. As a Buffs alum, I'm feeling a little bit better today. But David, instead of the Buffs, why don't you tell me how you feel about this 19-3 Broncos victory tonight?
Well, hey, like I told you guys backstage, guys, I'm not going to start off and be negative Nancy, but I will say I did not enjoy watching this game. And this was the first one I did not enjoy all season long. I've been holding on. I thought I was going to get a full 17 games. We'll talk about all that stuff later, but there is positives to draw from this. I think number one, the defense played fantastic in this game, and that was awesome to see. And it's great to know that, hey, even though we were playing some backups, we got the number one seed. We finally beat the Chargers. Hey, so we got that, and we have home field advantage and a game less than everybody else in the AFC to reach the Super Bowl. So we have a fantastic advantage. Now the real season starts, and a season in which I think maybe two years in a row, maybe three, where we've exceeded expectations coming into the season for the regular season performances. So I'm happy, man. Given everything, they should be proud of going 14-3.
I love that note you made because it was such a point for me throughout the dark years in Broncos country, or when they did kind of have that turning point season where they went 9-8. I was hammering the point of, man, it's nice to exceed expectations. Like, yes, the playoff drought sucks, but like Saints fans are happy with their season. They went 6-11. Saints fans are happy with their season because they exceeded expectations. So much of your enjoyment as a sports fan, and I think it's something we overlook too much, but so much of it is dictated by your expectations. Are you expecting it? Like, if this happened 3 years ago, no one would be going, well, I don't know, some of the games weren't that impressive. They'd be like, oh my God, thank God we won more than 7 games in a single season. This felt so nice. You know, but now we've gotten a little spoiled and gotten a little, rich again. But nonetheless, I get where people are coming from. I think it's important to contextualize it all. Mike, what's your instant reaction on this one?
I love it too. I like what David said about, both of you actually talking about expectations. The one person whose expectations this team did not exceed are Sean Payton's. He called his shot before the season started. 3 goals, right? Take the West, done. Best seed for the playoffs. Literally got the best seed in the playoffs and get to the Super Bowl. Number 3 is outstanding. He expected this, and more importantly, Zach, this team expected this. We had reports recently, and I forget who it was, about people hearing Sean say that and then going home and telling their families, this is our Super Bowl window's open now. And I thought that was a really cool quote. I don't remember. I think that was our guard that was injured. God help me. David, who was our guard that was out for like 4 weeks?
Ben Powers.
Thank you. Ben Powers said that like yesterday. He's like, we all felt this way. Like, we expected to win the West. We expect to win the first seed, and we expect to go to the Super Bowl. And so expectations, they do mean a ton. Broncos fans expect us to win big against backups. Sean doesn't play that way. You guys know that. This was a frustrating watch. David, I'd like to remind you of the Jets game and the Raiders game from this season before you say this is the most frustrating game you've ever watched.
Yeah.
Is
I'm a sicko. I love those.
I mean, this is actually, I think it was actually our very own Zach Seegers of Let's Talk Broncos who stated that this is the biggest win against Jim Harbaugh that Sean Payton's ever had, Zach.
Even more than that, it's the biggest win either of them has ever had against the other. Jim Harbaugh, before that, it was a 10-point win by Jim Harbaugh. And I point this out in part, because we can all acknowledge that, the Chargers played their backups. It wasn't their A game. It wasn't the Broncos either, as I'm excited to get into. But yes, of course, this wasn't the Broncos A game. But outside of that, it's I think there's a 6-point win and then a bunch of 3-point victories. Literally just about every single victory in the 8-game series, I think 5 out of 8 is decided by 3 points or less. So I just will put that out there with the idea of Jim Harbaugh owns Sean Payton. This whole offseason, I'm just going to brace Broncos country for it. You're going to hear everyone in national media say, well, the Broncos are due for regression because of their performance in close games. Those are more of a coin flip, and they win 11-2. Next year, they'll probably be closer to 500 in those games. Doesn't that same mindset apply to the two coaches where every single game between the two is determined by a field goal? Maybe that's kind of a coin flip too. And we're talking about a sample of 8. And just because you flip a coin 8 times and it goes head 6 doesn't mean you got a fake coin. Just saying. Anyways,
this is why he makes the big bucks, folks. Right here. This is why Zach Sigers is the best in the business. He's got all this stuff running around his head like Rain Man. It's crazy.
But I want to go back to David really quick because we hopped on and we always have a little brief chat pre-show. And typically, we've come on after an ugly Raiders game. We've come on after an ugly win over the Chiefs third stringers last week on Christmas, no less, that we all had to suffer through that on a holiday. And David comes in and is the beacon of light and saying, guys, we gotta, be a little positive here. We can't be too negative. Today, David was the one with steam coming out of his ears. Why did this one get you, David?
Oh man. Well, I don't want to spend too much time on this.
No.
But our red zone offense, man.
That's a valid concern.
That's a concern, man. We can't punch it in. And here's the thing, Mike, you can kind of bring me back down to earth a little bit, saying, this was a vanilla game plan. This was preseason like plays. Bo Nix's average depth of target was 0. It felt like that. Like he was just thrown at the line of scrimmage all the time. So, Sean Payton wasn't showing anything in this game because everyone's going to be talking about how we might be seeing the Chargers here in 2 weeks, which also is terrifying. By the way, they might be the team I'm most nervous about playing just with how they bodied our offensive line today. But yeah, it would be nice to have, for the offense to have some confidence, I think, going into the playoffs. But yeah, concerned about that. But hey, at least our defense bounced back, and I thought, played a really great game. And they did what they should have done. They did what they should have done, but the offense, man, the offense out of rhythm. I ain't liking that.
I want to rebut David just a little bit here, but first, Mike, is there anything you want to add about how you're feeling, I guess, about a performance that wasn't as dominant as I think a lot of Broncos country was expecting?
Yeah, I would just tell everyone Sean Payton played the exact game he wanted to play. He could give two whats how exciting that game was. He wanted to get out of there with as few injuries as possible. He did not want turnovers. The only way the Broncos lose that game is with stupid turnovers and stupid penalties. We managed to avoid, for the most part, both of those. And as far as the red zone goes against the Chargers, David, there is no way Sean's going to run anything in his pocket for that team now they got to get past the Jaguars now. So the Chargers are playing the Jags.
The Pats.
No, they're playing the Patriots.
The Patriots. Are you sure?
They should be the 7th seed. They should.
Okay, because that's right. Because I think I did that earlier. So forget the point. The point is, I don't see the Chargers getting past the Jags or the Patriots, to be honest with you. Now, I think the Chargers are probably a tougher matchup for the Patriots than they would be for the Jags. I think they will give the Patriots some trouble. But Sean had that game. If that game was 10-0 Chargers at the half, you would have seen things that Sean didn't want to show you. I don't have any concerns about this. If anything, it's that I thought Bo Nix played really poorly tonight, because even with that game plan and those plays, there were still plays to be made that Bo missed tonight. That was a little concerning for me. And then RJ Harvey was very concerning to me. I will say this for the third week in a row, Jaleel McLaughlin put up 6.8 yards per carry. Again, the guy is just a better running back at this point in their career. Give him the ball, throw the ball to RJ.
I think that's perfectly said. We'll definitely get more into the run game in a second here. And Jaleel needs to be the primary ball carrier in this offense right now. Like, he's just more threatening than RJ Harvey. Now, Mike made a lot of the points I want to make. I think Sean Payton's not going to be showing his hand. And excuse me, the reason why is because the Chargers are the Broncos' most likely opponent in the divisional round. Like, we don't have the analytical models out yet, but just in your head, like, the Chargers probably have like a 40% chance to beat the Patriots. That's going to be the most likely outcome. Like, anyone else, if the Chargers beat the Patriots, that's who the Broncos are playing.
Yeah.
Any other individual outcome requires, X team winning plus the Patriots winning plus maybe some additional stuff. It's a parlay. The Chargers are the single most likely, and by a good margin, the single most likely next opponent for the Denver Broncos. When we're talking about back-to-back games, like, even with a bye week, you don't want to show Jesse Minter and the Chargers, okay, here's our A plan for your defense, right before having to play him again. Ideally, now you might have to show him some of that, right? This is an important game. You got to win it. You might have to show some of that, but ideally, right, if we just put ourselves in like a coaching game planning perspective, we're sitting here on Friday night talking about, we want to show as little of that as we possibly have to show. If we got to show it to win the game, we'll do it because we got to win this game, but as little as possible. What does the game script look like? Right? 3 and out for the Chargers. Broncos drive down, get a field goal. Would have been nice to get a touchdown there. But to the point about red zone stuff, third downs, red zone, that's when you're breaking out your designer plays or like your special beaters. That's the stuff you definitely want to keep hidden for a potential playoff matchup. So field goal, not ideal. But then you go right back, get a pick six. You've got a 10-point lead. And I think understandably they went, okay, our defense has thrown them back-to-back 3 and outs. We're up 10 points. We're already through like a quarter of this game. How much, if we entered this game with the mindset of let's show as little as possible, right now we're in a setting where, oh God, we don't have to show them a thing. And I think that dictated the rest of the game flow we saw. And it wasn't exciting. I think like there's 2 different conversations to be had. There's like, how do we feel about this game in a vacuum? Not good, man. I want the Broncos to whoop up on backups, whether that be the Chargers or the Chiefs. I want them to beat up on teams picking first overall, like the Raiders, or second overall or third overall, like the Jets and Giants, right? Like, lockstep agreement on all those points. But that's not going to be a problem the rest of the way. The Broncos aren't going to be playing a team of backups in the playoffs because teams don't rest starters in the playoffs. They're not going to be playing a team picking top 3 in the playoffs because those teams don't make the playoffs. They're going to be playing the best teams in the league. And when you look at how they performed against the best teams in the league, they've gotten up every single time and they've played them tough every single time.
That's
the only one that wasn't at the buzzer field goal in terms of loss, like their worst performances were at the buzzer, losses at the field goals, and then the Jags game, where they're in that if they don't turn the ball over when they're trying to make a comeback. The difference between that game and like the Giants game or whatever isn't they played much worse. It's they threw interceptions when they were trying to make their comebacks instead of making low probability plays. Like, that just didn't work out for him that time. But I didn't think the team looked markedly worse. I am not concerned about this performance.
Okay, let's go.
That's my rant. That's tease me up to you guys. Are you concerned, David? Starting with you.
Well, you make me feel better. You make me feel better about it. I am, it was great to see Garrett Bowles and Alex Forsyth returned as well, right? So, I mean, I think the tone of the post game might have been a little bit different if those guys didn't return. But yeah, let's save all the good stuff. This is why you pay Sean Payton all this money, for him to be the evil genius once the playoffs hit, right? So yeah, and I mean, you highlight my comment there just for a second. Chargers are battle tested, man. Jim Harbaugh is a darn good coach. Jesse Minter seems to, doesn't matter who's out there, man. Those guys are playing great today. It would not surprise me at all if we do play them again. And in that context, it makes sense running a Remember the Titans playbook for this thing.
Great pull. I love it. Mike, how concerned are you?
I mean, overall, I'm not concerned at all, honestly, guys. I was just like you, Zach. I expected this. This is what Sean Payton does. Yeah, the red zone. I think the red zone stuff is a little bothersome. Sean's reluctancy to go to Jaleel concerns me a little bit. But you know, we needed to return to the mean on turnovers. We're starting to see that, which is a really good sign. And then we just had our first score on defense since Benito in 24, I think.
Dang.
So this is so I'm actually fine. I mean, I'm not going to sit here as a lifelong Broncos fan and complain too much about what I've seen. And I guess complaint is different than concerns. So I get what you're saying, but no, this is exactly the game I expected from the Broncos, and it's exactly what we got.
Yeah, and I'm kind of in a similar boat. I will say the thing that does worry me, the offensive line a little bit. I think specifically in a matchup with the Chargers, they kept talking about it throughout this game, but this was like the second highest pressure rate they've allowed in any game this season. It might have even been the highest, but the top two now are games against the Chargers. And just talked about how likely it is they see him again. All right, guys, Sean Payton, time to spend this bye week looking at different protection rules or protection plans for this Chargers defense, because it clearly wasn't good enough today. Yeah. And Bo Nix, you highlighted it, I think, in your instant reaction, Mike, but this was a Bo Nix game that looked more like the version of Bo we saw the first 10 weeks of this season. I thought the accuracy was scattershot. I thought there were open receivers downfield he missed. There was Mims on a seam, going down the seam, versus cover three. I thought Nix could have tried that window. Again, I think they probably approached this with a conservative game plan. So I get why maybe he went, hey, the one thing that's going to kill us here is interceptions. Let's just, check it down here. That said, it's third down. If you throw an interception on the deep ball, that's effectively a punt. Like you can take that risk. So there's that. There were some like check downs where, again, he just missed on it. It was weird. They highlighted a Pat Bryant deep route that Bo had him come open on that he just didn't see. Mm-hmm. So I thought it was a bit of a step back from Bo and the offensive line. If we want to talk about worrying, that's what worried me. But again, I don't know how much stock to put into it, because I think Sean Payton had Bo playing with one hand tied behind his back this game. And Jesse Minter's given him problems anyway. So a little troubling, but that's about it for me. Do you guys have any thoughts on that? Mike, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I think I think that defense does scare me probably there more than even the Texans in some ways, because of their ability to do that. I also think that they were just playing with reckless abandon, and that combination of them just going all out, running over our offensive line, knowing that the Broncos aren't going to try and punish them with a deep ball, all just kind of like melded together for a perfect storm for them to do this against Bo tonight. Like there was no threat. Just like you said, we weren't going to take any chances. We weren't going to try and make them pay for coming after Bo like that. And Sean wasn't really going to adjust to it. All he was going to say to Bo was, hey, if you got to take a sack here, take a sack here. Don't risk the ball. I mean, I see it. I didn't like it. A lot of people are down on the O-line. I know the numbers are going to be terrible. The EPA is going to be like 3% or some crap. Like, I mean, it's going to be bad. But at the end of the day, this to me, here it is, guys. This is like a preseason game to me. you can't take much away from a preseason game. I feel that way about this game. It's
Well put.
19-3. We won the game. We're the top seed in the AFC. How we got there, yeah, it was ugly. But again, Sean, this is a guy that paints the home practice field the color of the opposing team when they go on the road. Like, he just does everything he thinks to make it harder for the team to beat him and the next team to beat him. It's just the way he is.
Yeah, and I don't like this strategy. I hope they address it in the offseason, but it didn't burn them this year. They did it against the Jets, they did it against the Raiders twice, they did it against the Chiefs the second time, and the Chargers. A lot of those games were closer than I would have liked them to be.
Yeah.
They won all of them. And at this point of the season, it all counts the same. So whatever. David, anything you want to add quick?
I like that perspective. Looking at this as kind of a preseason game. But there is one other big takeaway that I have from this.
Yeah.
Sorry if we're getting ahead, but
no, go for it.
should Justin Sternad be on the field?
Don't be stealing my shit, man.
Yes. By the way, the answer is yes.
Should.
The Broncos' two best linebackers all season long have been Justin Sternad and Dre Greenlaw.
Amen.
And Dre Greenlaw hasn't been on the field much, but that, and also that should be their linebacking room next year.
Yeah.
Resign Sternad, draft a dude somewhere in like the top 75 who can be like the long-term answer, because I don't know if Greenlaw's really working out. But we
got Drew Sanders coming back. So
no, he hasn't. He's more injured than Greenlaw.
Yeah.
And I'll say not to. I hope I'm wrong. I've been wrong about Drew Sanders before. Last year, I was throwing in the towel on him, and then he came in down the stretch and made a pretty nice impact. At this point, I think the Broncos chose not to bring him off IR because they're not the biggest fans, and they just went, we'd rather use that activation on someone else. That doesn't mean now I think they put him on IR because they went, we don't want to cut this guy. We'd like to keep him around. But I don't think he had a season-ending injury. I think they didn't want to give him a final roster spot, and they also didn't want to cut him. And he was injured. And this happens all the time in the NFL, by the way. And he was injured, so you hide him on the IR for a year. And maybe he bounces back next year and he makes the 53. But I think it's a not great sign. That's my take.
Mm-hmm.
100%.
David, on the Bo Nix, Sean Payton of it all, we always do our Bo Nix, Sean Payton improvement meter. What grade would you give Sean Payton and Bo Nix today?
Maybe I am kind of a perpetual optimist. So, you guys are helping me get in a little bit better of a mood after this. So
you're welcome.
I'll give a stock up for Sean Payton for taking care of this game. How about this? Is this the first time all year when we've been favored, we've covered the spread? Is that the first time this year? Right, 19-3, 13.5.
I bet they did against the Bengals and the Cowboys, but those.
But we weren't favored in those games. I don't think.
Oh, as a favorite.
Covered the spread when we were favored.
Well, Bengals, they probably were, right? Because that was Jake Browning at home.
I don't think we were. favored in that game, which was crazy.
Yeah. This would be the only time they covered they were favored by 7.5, but this is the only time they've covered as double-digit favorites.
Okay, maybe it's that. So, hey, hats off to you, Sean Payton. You still covered. You scored points with Will Lutz. That was great. Now, Bo Nix, you only threw it 23 times, but, I need you at this stage to be in a rhythm when the game starts. So stock down a little bit for Bo Nix after this game. Stock up for Sean Payton. You convinced me, guys.
I like it. Mike, where are you going with this?
First, I'd like to say that Bo Nix has now tied Russell Wilson for the most wins by a starting quarterback in his first 2 seasons in NFL history. So congratulations to Bo. But stock down, Bo. Sorry, man. You were a little scattery tonight. He obviously didn't like the game plan in my eyes. I think he was very frustrated with it. I think he was yelling at Sean. it's just I love the fire in him, but you got to execute the plan that's given to you. And it was a safe keep away plan. And he missed, like Zach said, he missed a lot of throws that were out there, guys, that he should have had. And even the ones that he completed were not exactly in the perfect radius of the receivers. He got bailed out by Pat Bryant, bailed him out on a couple. I thought he made a couple really nice plays coming back. I don't know. Evan Ingram, even that play to him, that was not the best pass, the 37-yard or whatever it was to Evan Ingram. That wasn't exactly the prettiest pass I've seen in my life. So, but I'll go stock down on Bo a little bit. And then I'm actually perfectly fine with Sean. I mean, he's a great coach. He's one of 6 coaches in the history of the NFL now to lead 3 teams to 14-win seasons. Wow. Only 6 have done it, and the names on that list are absolutely Hall of Fame caliber. So, hats off to both Bo and Sean. But yeah, up or even with Sean, and yeah, you got to punish Bo for that performance.
You know what? I'm surprised I'm the only one with this. I'm stocked down on Sean Payton. I do think he phoned it in today, and they won. But also, like, man, if I was a teacher and I thought a student phoned in a test but got a 60%, you got a 60%, man. I don't know what to tell you. And that's kind of how I feel today. Like, no, I don't think this was his best effort, but like, he went over in the red zone with his play calls. I thought the especially the first drive, the goal to go calls were really frustrating to me. So I'm not overly like concerned coming out of this game, but it's hard for me to give him a pat on the back for this one also. Bo Nix, I think, also stock down. I'm not terribly worried. It is just one game. But seeing that, like, the inaccuracy of the first 10 weeks crop back up, that was troubling because it's been gone for a month and a half now. And this would be the wrong time for it to return. I don't think it will, but a little troubling for me. So stock down on both, but only slightly. I'm not sounding any panic alarms.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, Zach, I think I said 14 win seasons. I meant obviously getting the number 1 seed 3 different times. So not okay. 14 seasons, 14 win seasons 3 different times. It's the number 1 seed 3 season times. And that's, by the way, Andy Reid, Belichick, Marty Schottenheimer, Cowher, Seifert, and Payton. So pretty cool stat.
Now it's just he and Bill Belichick in terms of 5 13-win seasons too. He already did that going into today, but
that's right. Yep.
Pretty damn impressive. Going now to
just so Zach, just so I'm clear now, your stock down, you agree that Sean didn't want to show anything in the red zone to a potential the most likely potential opponent.
Here's the thing. I can perfectly execute my plan of like, oh, I don't want, whatever girl to think I'm a nerd. I'm going to throw this test and throw
no
the
girl
test
thinks you're a nerd, Zach.
Wrong. And throw the test. And guess what? I still threw the test. Like, that's my thing. I think that they put out their best effort? No. But you don't put your best foot forward, and I'm gonna grade you as such. I don't think this was their best foot forward. And I'm grading.
Should have been a lawyer.
Tarantino.
You should have been a lawyer. You had your chance to go to law school and be a lawyer. It's what you should have done, because you just talked your way right out of it. You beat me fair and square.
Man, that would
well
be
done.
Depressing. Anyways, on to is there anything else you guys want to hit on in this game that stood out to you in particular about the offense and defense?
You've got thoughts, David.
Yeah, I thought our secondary played good. That was nice to see. Trey Lance didn't torch us. So, hey, congratulations, Jaquan McMillan, for a pick 6. That was great. Riley Moss, you better grab that interception in the postseason, my friend, or else you're not going to hear the end of it. So hopefully PJ Locke is okay. That's really the biggest concern I have from the team coming out of this.
Yeah. Thank God Bowles is okay.
Yeah, thank God the 2-0 linemen came back in. Both of those, like when Forsyth went down, I was really concerned. This team does not want to have Mustafa on the field for an extended period of time. And same thing about Frank Crum. No disrespect to those guys, but that'd be very concerning entering the playoffs with either of those two starting. It seems, at least for now, that the Broncos dodged that fate. D-Bronx, that has nothing to do with you being a lawyer and everything to do with me and my own professional experiences. I've had one real job in my life, and I was so deeply miserable. And then I was like, "Give me the KO away. I need another job where I just talk about the Broncos. I'm a big baby." Is what I'm getting at here. Okay, playoffs. We're talking about playoffs.
Yes.
Playoffs.
Yeah.
Do the imitation. At least try it.
Playoffs.
There you go. That's not bad. All right, I'll give it.
I've got no
Playoffs?
vocal range.
Playoffs. Playoffs. All right.
Who
In the chat, I
there's
want to know who
four-
won the imitation game.
Yeah, vote in chat. There's 4 teams the Broncos could play in the divisional round. The only 2 they could, well, I guess 5 if we want to include the AFC North teams. But I'm just going to bucket those together because, I don't think we feel that dramatically different about the Steelers and the Ravens. They will not play the Patriots. They will not play the Jaguars in the divisional round. Just mathematically impossible.
Ugh.
They could play the winner of the AFC North, the Houston Texans, the Buffalo Bills, or the Los Angeles Chargers. Mike, which of those 4, which 2 would you want to see? Which 2 are you hoping to avoid?
I would love to see the Steelers at Mile High.
Yep.
And just beat that 42-year-old man playing quarterback to a pulp. I think that would be an easy win easy win. I think that we would handle that one pretty well. Actually, I think I would take either team from the North, right? Like you said, it's either Pittsburgh Ravens or Houston, right? They're 4 and 5. So
yeah,
I would rather see either of the 2 from the North than the Chargers again right away for me. Did I answer the question?
Yeah. I'll accept that. David, which 2 would you want to see? Which 2 would you want to avoid?
Oh, wait, I forgot. Which 2 would I want to avoid? Buffalo. Buffalo. I don't like Buffalo either. So I got to give you 2 I don't like. I love Pittsburgh. I love Houston. I don't want the Chargers or Buffalo. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Got it.
If I had to rank it right now, I do feel like the Chargers are at the top of my list for the team I don't want to play.
Interesting. Wow. I
just think Minter.
Different.
They dominated us today, man.
They
dominated us.
Always schematically, dude. I saw Quinn Miners get pancaked on a play, dude. Like the way in which they play our offensive line, it concerns me. It concerns me.
Valid.
So I'm going to put the Chargers at the top of the list. Guys I don't want to face. Sorry. Then Bills because of Josh Allen. Just because of that. We've beaten Houston, so I think we can do it again. Even though I'd still rather not face them. I guess I would rather have the division winners sweep it next week because I will gladly take the Steelers, ideally, or the Ravens. Even though, man, the Ravens have had our number, and this is why Devin Key, dude, 26 should only be an offensive number, dude. If we go out there and got to play the Ravens with the 26 starting at safety, man, that's just bad juju. You got to change your number, man.
We saw that last time. I'll follow David's method here. The team I want to see the least is the Bills. The Josh Allen of it all scary. I think he's going to be on his 2018 LeBron shit, trying to just will that team to the Super Bowl. Plus, I think it's just a bad matchup. I think you want to beat that defense on the ground, and the Broncos are just struggling to find a consistent run game right now. I think the Bills also can really run it on you, and I wonder about the Broncos' size on defense against a really physical run game. So just matchup-wise, they've got the best quarterback. Been there, done that as a playoff team. Don't want to see him again. I'd also just like to see something different after kind of the Broncos getting shelled last year. it wasn't a shelling, but one-sided loss last year.
Shelling. It was a blowout.
Yeah, it was rough. It felt closer than the final score, but neither here nor there. That's the team I want to see the least. Then I'd say the Texans. I think they're playing good football right now. I think that offense is better than when the Broncos ran up against them. I think that defense is nasty. I think the Broncos would win that game, but I would not want to see them. Then it's the Chargers for me. I generally agree with you guys that like that team gives the Broncos some problems for some reason. They are so beat up. Like, yes, they rested dudes. Like they rested 6 players or something today. A lot of the backups that were out there are still going to be out there in the playoffs. They are an incredibly wounded team. And I think the Broncos, just beat them by 16 points. And I know lots of backups or whatever, but beat them by multiple possessions, trotting out like the most generic game plan possible. I think, with a bye week, tailoring stuff to attack this Chargers team, I think they'd honestly do pretty well. That offensive line's really struggled. I think Justin Herbert would be under constant duress. I like that matchup for the Broncos. And then the team I'd most want to see, I'm with you guys, whoever comes out of the AFC North. I prefer the Steelers. I think they're a bigger joke, but the Ravens I'm not too scared of either. I'm with David that they've given the Broncos a hard time, but within the last week or so, we had a Ravens player talking about how Lamar Jackson couldn't walk at practice with like the body contusion he suffered. He's incredibly beat up right now. He's nowhere near the real Lamar Jackson. I would feel fairly good about that matchup too. So that's how I would rank the 4. Any other closing thoughts on that before we get to stars of the game or anything else?
I think we all generally agree. There's a few teams that are scary, and Zach, you hit it on the head with the Bills. Josh Allen, it's like that team is at that level now that this is a bad comparison, but like kind of like the Patriots used to be, or like how the Chiefs got, like they don't give a shit about the regular season so much anymore. And it shows. It's all going to work out. They're losing when they don't, they just kind of, they almost played it a little too much this year and got themselves out of the playoffs. But I think when the lights come on in the playoffs, you're going to see a different Bills team. And you're right. Josh Allen is not going to be denied. He's going to do that thing he does. And I kind of hope we see a little bit of that out of Bo Nix in the playoffs, that Sean finally lets the reins loose. We're going to find out, in the divisional rounds, how right or wrong I am. I think he's been holding back for a while now, and I think we're going to see a different offense. But yeah, that Josh Allen thing, and then I agree with you. Even with Lamar injured, that kind of quarterback scares the crap out of me, and I know it scares the crap out of Vance.
Yeah,
David, did I say something? You're looking at me like in that way that you look at me when you're about to.
Well, you got me thinking, and I think, hey, we don't win in a way that is pleasing to most people, especially the media. So I am definitely expecting going into the divisional round. I think there's a good chance, man, we could be home dogs in the second round, based off of who we're facing. Whether it's the Chargers or Bills or Texans, likely one of those teams. I think it could work.
I don't think we would be dogs against the Texans. I really don't. I don't think that we're clearly a better team than the Texans. I think they're a good team who's playing well, but I would bet the Bills would be favored.
Yeah,
but I don't know that the Texans would at home.
Bills would, Chargers and Texans I could see either way. I think the Broncos, would be favorites, but it's probably
3, like a wash.
Yeah, it's like a home field line,
something like that.
I bet Bills would be like 5.
Yeah, Bills. I think the Broncos would be underdogs too. But yeah, I feel good about the playoffs. I'm excited for them to get here. Stars of the game. David, what do you got for us?
Stars of the game.
Don't do it.
Will Lutz. Will Lutz is my star of the game. You made 4 field goals. I mean, the Panthers had issues making field goals yesterday from like the 20-yard line. So, Will Lutz, good job making all 4 of your kicks. We win this game without you. But I mean, it's only 7-3 if that's the case. So yeah, thank you, Will Lutz. You're my star of the game.
Love it.
I love it too. I tweeted out it was all you need is big nuts and sacks to win this game, and it was a big sacks and big nuts, and that's all we had today, and it worked. So great call out.
Yeah, it was a great performance by Will Lutz. He's it's nice having a reliable kicker. He's been a lot better than I thought he would have been ever since they signed him from New Orleans. Mike, your star of the game. Where are you going?
Yeah, you know what, guys? I rarely go to the defensive side of the ball. You know that. I love the offense. I'm one of those weirdos that loves the Peyton Manning, the John Elway, the 30 points a game stuff. So I'm always hoping for that. But man, you got to hand it to the defense today, playing against the scrubs. They smothered them. It wasn't like that Chiefs game earlier in the year against that unknown dude who almost drove down and won the game. I mean, that was stressful to me, David, watching them almost tie it up at the end. This was very different. The offense was terrible. There's nothing to really glean from it other than Jaleel. But I'm taking Justin Strnad, getting better every game he plays. Like I think we have something here with this guy, man, that excites me. And today he showed out, big pass breakup, a sack, I'm pretty sure, most tackles on the team for sure. He was everywhere around the ball. So yeah, he was a star of the game. He stood out, and even stood out to those idiots calling the game tonight, which I rarely listen to. I usually try and set up a stream to hear Dave Logan, but I was running around doing 20 other things. So I had to listen to those idiots. And
is he calling? Are they calling our divisional game? Is that already
probably
decided?
Yeah, probably.
They'll call whichever one's better.
Who's more important than who calls the game, though, is who refs the game. When we find out who's reffing our game, because I'll take this crew over any crew in the NFL right now.
Which is crazy. They fucked us. Excuse me. They screwed us. Sorry, YouTube. But it's crazy because they had some calls. Yeah, they had some. I think the Keenan Allen one after a review.
That was a fumble. That was the review officials. Okay, but I'm talking about the guys on the field. They kept their flags in the pocket.
There were some others that I was like,
you just want to fight me on everything tonight, and I just want to be happy.
No, but Mike, I agree with you. I'm just saying it's crazy that this crew is the most preferable, because I still think there were
refs are
a fair number of calls that went against the Broncos maybe unfairly. David, anything you want to add about that star?
About Justin Strnad?
Yeah.
I mean, hey, Alex Singleton was kind of a late breakout in his career when he became a starter. So, hey, Justin Strnad's kind of on that timeline, and I think he's a little bit faster. And so I would like to see him and Dre Greenlaw. I do have a question. Like, do you think we'll get back Dre Greenlaw for the divisional round? J.K. Dobbins was talking to fans, it seemed like pregame, about him possibly returning at some point in the playoffs, as long as we continue to win. And is Brandon Jones, is that hope just all gone? And Zach, do you have any word on PJ Locke?
I've got no word on anybody except for J.K. Dobbins. I have heard that the day being circled is AFC Championship game is like the soonest he could be back. Maybe that's wrong. That's what Benjamin Albright's been saying on a KOA for us, but we'll see what ends up happening. Maybe he outperforms expectations. What has me optimistic, because as Ben's been saying it, that's the earliest he'll come back. Today, on his way into the stadium, a fan yelled at him something about like, when are you going to be back? Or are you going to be back for the Super Bowl? And JK said sooner. Mm-hmm. Well, if we know the earliest is the championship game, the only thing earlier than the Super Bowl in that time, it would be the championship game. I would take him for the AFC Championship game. Absolutely. I think that'd be a massive boost. They could really use some health. That is one thing I'm a little worried about with this one. I'm still holding my breath on Garrett Bowles. I know he came back in this game, but he didn't look quite like himself. And he's been like a borderline all-pro level this year.
Yes.
he'll be in the running for protector of the year. And so losing him for the playoffs would be crushing. My star of the game, I can't believe y'all didn't go with this guy.
Mhm.
It's Jaquan McMillan. I mean, you guys gave me the filet mignon with the last
You
overall.
deserve
pick.
it.
I'll take it. Led the defense in solo tackles for whatever that's worth, but really, we know why he's number one. It's because the pick six. That was amazing. We were well overdue for some turnovers, for some defensive touchdowns, and finally getting some of that was really nice to see in this big spot. It felt like the ball started bouncing the Broncos' way some more in this one. I'm hoping that carries into the playoffs because as Sean Payton's been hammering home the last couple of weeks, they really need to get that turnover margin to be better. Jaquan McMillan, what do you guys think about his performance today, David?
It was great. I'm happy for him. He's got a nose for pick sixes. So, yes, let's hope that's not the last pick six of the season for Jaquan McMillan, man. And I'm so happy he's a restricted free agent. We're going to be able to bring back the entire secondary next year, and that's very, very exciting.
Yep, I'm with you there. Mike, how do you feel?
I love it, Zach. That's it probably would have been number 2 on my list. He like I said, first touchdown for the defense and almost a year. Huge play, and it allowed Sean to keep playing the stupid game plan that he had, because he got points on the board and he could just sit there. So yeah, a huge game from him. And you could say he certainly was more important to the win than my guy Sternad. So yeah, I think it's a great call out. Great choice.
I'm loving it.
I can't believe nobody took anyone on the offense.
Man, it was that type of day. I'm not overly surprised. I'll say that. I did think McLaughlin. I did think Pat Bryant. We had a comment shouting out Pat Bryant. I think that's a good shout out. One more thing I want to do before we get out of here. We will not be doing another show until the Broncos play another game, I figure. And so I thought this would be a good time to ask you guys who would be your regular season star, or let me rephrase this. Who would be your star of the regular season as a whole for the Denver Broncos? Mike, you're nodding. Are you ready to roll on this?
Absolutely. You guys know exactly who mine is.
I actually do think who you're going with here. Who's the pick?
It's Bo Nix. He is an incredible addition to this Broncos team. He has changed he's as responsible for the change to this team and this city as Sean Payton is. It's hand in hand with those guys. You saw what happened when Sean had Russell Wilson. He did as much as he could. He bled as much out of that old rock as he could get. But now the two of them team up, first seed in the AFC, guys. It's crazy. Bo Nix in his second year has set some crazy NFL records already as a rookie. You got to start getting rid of whatever preconceived draft notions you had out there, people. He is the MVP of this team. It's not even close. And yeah, I'll take all the heat for that. It's the easy answer, but I think it's the right one.
All right, David, any thoughts on Bo Nix's star of the regular season?
Hey, but Bo Nix was great. He was great. I think part of me is a little upset coming into this show because I really wanted for him so bad to reach 4,000 passing yards. And he came up about 70 yards short, man, on the season. That sucks. But you got to come in with better rhythm to start the season. If you do that, you're right there in the MVP conversation. If Drake May's the favorite and Trevor Lawrence is in the mix, all I'm saying is that Bo Nix should have been in the mix this year, like especially with how he played in the clutch. But this is a tangent. I still think Matthew Stafford should win MVP, not Drake May by default. Anyways, my MVP. Oh, sorry. Or were you going to comment on Bo Nix?
No, I'll comment on Bo Nix really quick. I think if I was just to pick a MVP for the second half of the season, he'd absolutely be my choice. The first half of the season still is stuck in my craw a little bit, but I do. I'm optimistic about what we've seen from him as of late, and like I said, the past really since the first Raiders game, he's been the engine driving the Broncos. You know, the run game hasn't been there. The defense has fallen off quite a bit over that stretch. The strength of the team's been Bo Nix in the passing attack. So I think it's a good choice. He definitely was on my short list. But David, you were about to tell us who your pick was. Who's that?
Yeah. Dude, this guy got massive shade by the media, by the fans, the NFL fans. I was shocked he wasn't voted to a Pro Bowl. I think he was playing at an all-pro level this year. Talanoa Hufanga is my MVP for the year.
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah, and coming in first-year player with the Broncos, captain, and I mean he was the captain of this defense, and they're the reason primarily why we've won all these games. So, yeah, I'm gonna give it to Talanoa Hufanga. He gave us a little bit more of that tenacity and that aggression that I think that we've talked about in years past. That we've kind of been missing that kind of guy. Pat Surtain, very much in the same mold as Champ Bailey, kind of a lead by example type of guy. Obviously, does his part close to perfectly every single game. But Talanoa Hufanga, he's got that rah-rah that we've kind of needed on the defense. So, yeah, I'll go with Hufanga, man.
I love it. Mike, any thoughts on Hufanga?
I love it too. I think he had to take him because I took Bo, and that's okay. Because Bo's clearly the MVP, and I apologize to David for taking him, and so you had to grab the second guy, and now poor Zach is stuck having to grab the third guy. Zach, back to you, LTB.
Actually, I'll tell you this right now. My first overall choice still on the board, and I'll shout out Kodiak because this is a good pick from him with Garrett Bowles. I overlooked that with him being an offensive lineman, but would it be a fantastic pick? He's
good choice too.
I'm going with my selection here. I think the unheralded superstar of this team, Zach Allen, and not just because the first name Zach spelled the right way.
But partially.
He is amazing. Leading the NFL in quarterback hits from the interior defensive line position is absolutely remarkable. I think he's been better against the run this year even than he was last year. The sack numbers haven't been there, but I think this year, honestly, after maybe a slow September, slow kind of open to the season, he's been nails for like 2-3 months now. Everyone keeps talking about Benito sack numbers going down. But the pass rush hasn't decreased at all. Like the edge isn't getting as much pressure because teams have realized how fast the Broncos get off the line of scrimmage, and they've started compensating it by really kind of overextending to the boundary. And as a result, they've kind of opened up a soft underbelly up the middle, and Zach Allen and John Franklin Myers are taking advantage of it. But Zach Allen to a truly elite level. The only defensive lineman with 40-plus quarterback hits in back-to-back seasons outside of J.J. Watt. The NFL writers who I respect the most, who are older than me and have just seen a couple more decades of football than me, list J.J. Watt among the best defensive players ever. It's like Lawrence Taylor, J.J. Watt, Aaron Donald.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, Aaron Donald, where did he play? On the defensive line. What was he known for? Pressuring the quarterback. And he never did that? It's nuts. And again, I think JJ Watt did it 4 years in a row, but still the only other guy doing it is JJ frickin' Watt, the guy who won 3 Defensive Player of the Year awards in a row. I'm not saying Zach Allen's JJ Watt, we're talking about a Hall of Famer versus an All-Pro, but he's still an All-Pro and he's a damn good player. I think he's slight down season for Surtain, and I think Allen's been the straw stirring the drink for the defense down the stretch. He's my pick.
Yeah, that's a great pick. You put all these guys, Hufanga and Allen, all are top 5 players on the team. So you add PS2 to that list. What's that?
I said all respectable choices.
Yeah, I mean, they're all top 5 players on the team. And it's great that we don't just have one player that you can make an argument for on this team. That's a good sign, because there's actually quite a few players that you could make a pretty decent argument. Like Bonito, even though he's tailed off.
No one mentioned
a huge strip sack in this game to seal it basically for us. So, it's a good play. It's a good problem to have.
No,
even though
none
Bo
of
was
us
obviously
mentioned
best.
Surtain. He's been like the Broncos de facto MVP ever since the team drafted him, so he deserves some love. Garrett Bowles, we mentioned briefly. Hufanga is a great call. J.K. Dobbins, I don't think you could give him season-long MVP because he only played 10 of the 17 games, but I think he at least deserves a mention. Like, I think at the end of week 10, he might have been the team's most valuable player. Was doing a lot of heavy lifting for that squad. Really hope we see him back for that reason.
Yeah, just like you said, Zach, you said if you're a little bit of the Bo Nix take or takeaway is that first half of the season, J.K. Dobbins would have been my MVP for the first half of the season. Clearly, he was the best player on the team at that time on the offense.
If Dobbins doesn't get injured, I think, and that's a big ask from Dobbins. He's gotten injured, I think, every single year of his career. But if he hadn't gotten injured, I think we are having a radically different conversation about the Broncos going into the playoffs. I think we're talking about I think we're talking about an offense that's been top 5 for a month and a half with a top 5 to 10 rushing attack and a top 5 to 10 passing attack.
Absolutely.
And that's what the run game was before Dobbins got injured. That's what the passing game has been ever since Nick's got his mechanics right. And I am praying you get that version back, because if you get that version of the offense with the good run game and the good passing attack, it's fine if you get the defense we've gotten over the last month or so. That'll be good enough.
Yeah, and having that pass attack without having any run game is even more impressive. And you're right. If we can, are we going to talk about Jaleel McLaughlin getting 6 carries, even though he's clearly running the ball better? Is that going to change, or is that just like, did he date somebody's daughter or something? What is going on there? I mean, the guy is clearly more comfortable out of the backfield picking the holes. RJ looked really, really bad in the run game tonight. I didn't see anything encouraging from him tonight. And he just, you add a few weeks of those together, you want him on the field, but 6 carries for Jaleel seems a little low for me when we could really use a running game.
No, I think it's a great point. David, anything you want to add there?
Just, hey, find the hot hand. I don't know. I think Jaleel might deserve that first series and, sprinkle RJ in. I am going to pray to the football gods that somehow we get J.K. Dobbins back here in 2 weeks. So, that's what I'm doing.
He'll be back for the AFC Championship game.
Fingers crossed on that. Absolutely. Yeah. I do think Jaleel needs to be getting more touches going forward. That said, I think RJ Harvey needs to also remain part of the offense, because Jaleel McLaughlin is a huge problem in the passing game. I think the one reason why he isn't a larger part of the offense is not just he can't pass block, he's a really poor receiver too. How many catches does he even have on the year? I bet it's less than 10. It might be less than 5. And the reason is they don't like asking him to run routes, and they just don't trust him to be where he needs to be on time or to make. He doesn't have he has 3 catches for 10 yards this season. Like, that's kind of the thing with him. And again, he's not a good pass protector either. So when he's out there, it's a run play. And that's the big problem with Jaleel McLaughlin. But I do think he needs to start getting more work over RJ Harvey. Lockstep there. David, any business you need to attend to?
Oh, yes. Man, how could I forget? I need to do my best to get us all on this next year, guys. But Kalshi, guys, they sponsor the channel. Use the promo code DTB, get a $10 deposit when deposit match when you deposit at least $10. Links in the description. So, guys, if you're like me and you're smart, you can still put some money on the Broncos to win the Super Bowl, which is awesome, and you still get great odds over there. So I got a nice little $25 wager over there. Join me on Kalshi. Again, promo code DTB, David Talks Broncos. They help support the show. Thank you to my friends being so kind to allow me to still plug it on all of our streams together. It's very kind of you. It's been a great year. What are we? We're like 13-1 or something like that since doing these post games together. It's been fantastic. And thanks to everybody in the chat, for being with us throughout the whole season. Now the real season starts here. in a couple weeks. I'm thinking that we should still get together and talk about the potential matchup after the playoffs next weekend.
First after the first round.
Mm-hmm. Let's get that on the docket. But David, did you shout out your channel too? I heard you mentioned it, but I just want to make sure you get that.
Oh yeah. David Talks Broncos, and if you like college football, David Talks Buffs. That's an exciting time right now as
they're
the
doing
transfer
lots.
portal's open for 2 weeks. So busy couple weeks.
Do they get CJ Baxter?
Ooh, man, I sure hope so. I wasn't expecting us to be in the race for him, but that would be substantial, man. A real NFL quality running back in Boulder. I hope he signs on the dotted line on Tuesday.
He was on my short list of running back prospects for this season. Didn't end up getting the workload at Texas there, but he's a really exciting running back. Looked awesome in 2023. I got my heart broken by Alton McCaskill though, so I'm hoping that doesn't happen again. Mike, tell the people where they can find more of your great work.
Yeah, first, just shout out Zach for putting this together. We love this show. David and I, we both do a lot of shows, and at least for me, I won't speak for anybody else. This is my favorite show of the week. It's after the game. The prep is basically just watch a football game, watch the Broncos win, and then come out here and talk about it with your friends. We have such a great chat, and just love it. Mile High Monsters, if you don't follow, give me a shot. If you do, thank you. Make sure you follow Let's Talk Broncos, David Talks Broncos. It's just been a blast this year, and hopefully we'll keep it going all the way into February and bring home the chip. What would be number 4? Let's go.
Number 4, which importantly would tie the Chiefs atop the division and put the Broncos ahead of the Raiders all time,
yes.
And based on the last 30 years, it's going to be, I don't think number 4 is coming to Vegas anytime soon.
Number 1, they got the number 1 pick though. It's all going to come around. Wait till the offseason. It's going to be their year.
Just because you teed me up for it, the final take, I'm glad the Raiders got the number 1 pick, because now instead of doing something smart like trading back and getting assets to build up that tire fire of a roster, they're going to throw a number 1 overall quarterback into that tire fire of a roster. And you know what happens when you throw a kind of meh quarterback prospect into a tire fire of a roster? You get, I don't know, man. You get JJ McCarthy. Actually, that's a good roster. You get, gosh, I'm trying to think of a good example.
You get Cam Ward with the Titans.
Cam Ward at least looks cool. Anyways,
yeah.
Screw the Raiders.
And the Raiders.
The Vikings let Sam Darnold walk for JJ McCarthy, and now Sam Darnold has played his way into the number 1 seed. Is that right? 2 years in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
yes.
Crazy. That's just criminal mismanagement of a football team, man.
And who are the offensive coaches if you're the Vegas Raiders that you hire? Clint Kubiak isn't going to.
They're all gone. Everybody's gone from the Raiders.
Mike McCarthy. That's all you got. It's. I'm telling you, seriously, it's like Kubiak and McCarthy are maybe the 2 most exciting offensive names, unless Stefanski gets fired, which he probably does.
What a crazy world we live in that Stefanski could get fired. He took that piece of crap roster with all that cap space, and he's got the Browns fighting like tigers, man. That team, they get rid, and that's exactly what they'll do. The Falcons are firing Raheem Morris. The Browns will probably fire, and I just saw that announced. So they'll probably the Browns will probably fire Kevin Stefanski, and then someone who's smart will hire him 10 seconds later, because that's a hell of a football coach. Guys, we are so lucky to be where we are right now. Us sitting here complaining about how we're winning the first overall seed in the playoffs is such a great place to be. When just a few years ago, we would all be sitting here watching for when our coach was getting fired. We would be ranking the coaching candidates. We would be ranking the quarterbacks in the draft, who would be the best fit for the possible coaches that we were going to get or not get. It's crazy, Zach, how that was 3 years ago. We were all doing that. And here we are at the top of the AFC, man. I literally could tear up just thinking about this, man. This is such an amazing time.
And it could get even sweeter. Obviously, the playoffs ahead, but this offseason with Raheem Morris, the GOAT, John Elway, with Raheem Morris getting fired from the Falcons, there's a pretty good chance GM Terry Fontenot gets fired too. That will
He's
lead
gone.
to a pretty
Fontenot's
wide
gone.
scale, pretty dramatic rebuild in Atlanta. And then you got Drake London potentially available. You got Bijan Robinson potentially
Get him.
available.
Get him.
That would be a whole lot of fun. Everyone, links to David Talks Broncos are in the description of my video. Same thing with Mile High Monsters. Links below for everybody. Go support them until Tuesday without the adjustment. And then Wednesday, we'll be back here to do probably a season recap, maybe a little bit of a playoff look forward. Until then, everybody, though, let's go Broncos.
Go Broncos, guys.